Good evening. This is your girl Lynette from DALS Credit Solutions. Today is August 9th, 2022. We will be doing Credit Tip Tuesday, and our topic today will be understanding credit worthiness as it defines your credit profile. So, as we are joining, we are using the platform StreamYard. If this is your first time tuning in, please um, let us know where you are tuning in from. Put them in the comments. If you have any questions or concerns, also put them in the comments. If this is your first time watching, let us know it's your first time watching. And if you are watching a replay, let us know you're watching a replay by putting in the comments hashtag Credit Tip Tuesday replay. I did a series on this, and last week it didn't get uh, broadcast due to music that I had within the live. Even though I did not own the rights to the music. It was unable to be streamed the way I wanted to be streamed. So I'm going to do a 2-part series in one. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Again, my name is Lynette, and I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions, and this is Credit Tip Tuesday. As you are coming in, again, please like, click, and share. If this is the first time you are tuning in, make sure you put in the comments where you are tuning in from. We are using the platform StreamYard, and if you're watching a replay, please place in the comments you are watching a replay by using hashtag Credit Tip Tuesdays replay. Let us begin. So I did this series again last week, and it didn't get the visibility that I wanted. So I'm going to do the entire series, part 1 and part 2 today. So the goal is for you to understand your personal credit, increase your credit worthiness while looking over your reports. So I'm going to be using some slides. If you want a copy of the slides, put your email in the comments and I will send them directly to you. So I'm going to introduce this as if you never looked at your credit report one day in your life. I know I've educated for over 2 years regarding credit and its dynamics, but I want to have everyone look at this as if they never saw their credit reports. I'm also going to put in the comments, again, if you have questions, let me know. So when you're reviewing your credit score, there are several credit reporting agencies, and the reporting agencies are no more than a storehouse that reports patterns, trending data of who you are. As they collect information from different areas, they report this on your credit profiles. It's your job to make sure that it is accurate. So the credit data reporting agencies are the following: Equifax, which was one of the first credit bureaus established; Experian, TransUnion, Innovis, Check Systems, and LexisNexis. LexisNexis is one of the largest data sources on the planet, and it stores any and all reports from previous convictions, speeding tickets, evictions, court dates, whatever. LexisNexis displays this. They also give a visibility on who your neighbors are, who you've been in contact with. So again, LexisNexis is the largest data source in the United States, and the other bureaus that are nonprofits are Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, Innovis, and Check Systems. Check Systems is a credit reporting agency that looks at the activity of your banking. So that's another report. Again, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are the 3 main data sources. Innovis is one that is used mainly to put freezes on your credit, which we don't recommend. Check systems is how they look at your activity on deposits, if you have any negative accounts, overdraft fees, things of that nature, and that's a scoring system. And LexisNexis, again, which is the largest database in the United States that holds more than the score. It holds all previous convictions, addresses, relatives, relative charges, any type of issues that you had that's not within the main credit reporting agencies. LexisNexis will have it displayed. So, as you are reviewing the credit report, you have to make sure that the data on the credit profile is accurate. As consumers, it is your responsibility, our responsibility, to know what's on your credit report. If the first thing you'll look at is your name, is your name spelled correctly? Your address, your date of birth, social security number, workplace, etc. My name is Lynette. It's spelled Lynnette. I've seen it Linneettee. I've saw it Lynneettee. So forth and so forth. Whatever's on your birth certificate, make sure it is factual on all credit reporting databases. As we begin the steps on identifying if information is accurate, let's understand the definition of the 5 pillars. When I say the 5 pillars, meaning your payment history, credit utilization, credit age, mixed credit, and overall credit. However, there are 5 C's that is the equivalent to the 5 pillars. So when I talk about payment history is your character. Who are you? How you pay your bills. The capacity is the amount of loans, debt, credit utilization that you can carry, that you can be responsible for. Capital is how long you had your accounts and what type of, you know, funding you have, money you have. Collateral is mixed credit, I mean everything you own, assets, insurance, real estate, uh, anything, debt, whatever the case may be. Collateral equals mixed credit. The condition, meaning time on the job, overall credit, income, employee, and or business. What is the condition of who you are? The nature of who you are. Goals in the categories of the 5 C's, which will identify the 5 pillars on the credit report. As everybody is tuning in, my name is Lynette. I'm the founder of DALS Credit Solutions. Today is August 9th, and we are doing Credit Tip Tuesday. We are using the platform StreamYard to deliver the source of data that everybody can see how to look at their credit reports. Again, I am educating on a level as if you never looked at your credit reports. It's very important. Sometimes we have to start over to regain and understand the mistakes we have and build our credit worthiness. And this is your first time tuning in, please place in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you are watching a replay, put in the comments hashtag Credit Tip Tuesday replay. Once you are done viewing Credit Tip Tuesday, if you want a copy of the slides, I will send them to you directly. If you have questions regarding the information that I am delivering, also put them in the comments so I can answer them accordingly. As we continue, now we're identifying again what's on a credit report. Name, age, date of birth, social security, and accounts open. So when I say all accounts, anything that has your digital and or manual signature. Now, I've my account, my oldest account is almost 19, 20 years old. I'm only 35. I don't know that. Know that. No, don't know how that happened, but it happened. But make sure everything on your credit report belongs to you. As we continue, there are two types of scoring models. We have the vintage score, which is a scoring system that will give you a higher score, not generally used with corporate lending. The FICO scoring models 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10 is generally used for to extend lines of credit. The scoring model and percentages have two different areas. That's why the Vantage score displays a higher credit score model. However, it's one of my favorites because it gives you more of a breakdown on how you are reviewing your credit. The FICO scoring system is the oldest model and it is more respected and utilized with corporate lending and, different lines of credit. With the vintage scoring system, you have payment history, which is 40%. Depth of credit is 21%. Utilization is 20%. The balance is 11%. The recent credit is 5%, and available credit is 3%. I really like the scoring model because it shows you not only the time, but how you utilize your credit cards and if there is a balance. I will get into why, later on, so I stay on track, why it's not good to utilize your entire credit limit um, on a credit card. So utilization on a vintage score is 20% and a remaining balance is 11%, or the balance overall is the 11%. Available credit is 3% and recent credit is 5%. With the FICO scoring models, we have payment history of 35, utilization at 30, credit age at 15, mixed credit at 10%, overall credit 10%. Again, FICO is one of the well-known scoring models, and they are utilizing FICO for decision making. Every institution have their internal scoring models as well, and they can either look at the original FICO or have their own scoring models. I don't know which institutions do that overall. However, if you ask the question, I can find out. In this area, in order to now, after you looked at your credit, make sure you have all the credit, major credit reporting, your credit reports in front of you. Grab a pencil and piece of paper or a tablet so you can make sure you're looking at the errors, if there are any. Make sure everything is the same on the credit report. Write them down by each bureau where you see that there are some discrepancies. When you do this, now you're setting up a system to reach your goal. In this part, I would demonstrate how to calculate the goal score. So the goal score is the score you are requiring to reach that target. So if you want an 800, you would, utilize your goal based on wanting an 800 credit score. Everything I do is numerically um, because I want the individuals to see how we come up with a plan in order for you to look at your information and how to start. So I use the average credit score in the United States is roughly 650. So say if you have a 650, which is the current score, and you want an 800 credit score, we will utilize the FICO scoring systems because it's the most used, and we want to make sure that you reach your goal based off of this method. So as you're gathering your pen and piece of paper, or your tablet, I want you to look at this format. So later on, when you begin this process, you can use your own score. As you're following along, I want you to understand how I got this, what is the purpose, and how it works. So I'll let everybody take a few minutes to get their pencil and piece of paper and your tablet, and I will be right back. So sorry about that. My mic was muted. So everybody should have had time to get their tablet and pencil. Again, I want you to follow the exact numbers. So when you finish this, you'll understand how I got it, why it's effective, and this method you can utilize when you're starting your process. So again, we use the goal score at 800 and the current score at 650. So in order for you to reach your goal of 800, we're going to implement the 5 pillars on the FICO scoring system. And that is payment history of 35%, credit utilization at 30%, credit age at 15%, mixed credit and overall credit at 10%. When you add 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10, you're going to get 100% of your credit score. In order for you to reach your goal, you take the goal score, which is 800, and subtract it by 650, which is the overall credit score in the United States. When you subtract both of those numbers, you would get 150. 150 is the number you need to get to your 800. And the way you find out where the areas on your credit report that's giving you the most trouble is by numerically finding out what number is keeping you away from the 800 based off of your payment history, credit age, mixed credit, overall credit, and credit utilization. So you want to take the 150. And again, I said payment history is 35%. Now you're going to take this 35% and turn it into a decimal point. All those that hate math, please, it's okay. I'm not a big fan of a lot of things, but when you want to grow, you just learn small solutions, small steps to get to that final destination. So you want to take the number 150, and you want to multiply it by 0.35. You want to take that same 150 and multiply it by 0.30. So the 0.35 is the 35%, which is payment history. The 0.30 is 30%, and that is credit utilization. You're going to take the same 150 and multiply it by 0.15, which is credit age, and you're going to take the same 150 and multiply it by 0.10 twice, and that is mixed credit and overall credit. Once you get those numbers, take your time. Again, if you need the slides, put your email in the comments and I will send them to you directly. When you multiply 150 times 0.35, which is your payment history, you will know 52.5 points is the number you need to get closer to your 150. Out of the credit age, the credit utilization, You multiply 150 times 0.30, which is your credit utilization, and now there's 45 points. If you multiply 150 times 0.15, which is your credit age, that will give you 22.5 points. If you multiply 150 times 0.10 twice, it will give you 15. Once you get these numbers, 52.5, 45, 22.5, 15, and 15, let me know what number you did get. If you added up the numbers, those numbers given will be the 150 points needed to reach your target goal of 800. Now, the points given is the numbers required to get you to that destination, but you need to turn those decimal points back to a percentage. So 52.5% is your payment history. So your payment history is lacking areas on the credit that's keeping you away from that goal. Not lack, excuse me. There's areas on the credit report that's keeping you away from that 800 credit score. So 52.5% of your entire credit profile has to do with your payment history. Your credit utilization, if you don't have any credit cards, that is 45% of your overall credit profile based on credit utilization. Your credit age is 22.5, which is 22.5%. 15% is mixed credit. Overall credit is 15%. As you are looking at this will give you an overall view of, okay, I have 52% out of 100 that is dealing with my payment history. 45% is my credit utilization. My credit age is 22.5%. My mixed credit and overall credit is 15%. Again, if you add all of those points up, it would equal the 150 points that will allow you to get to your goal of 800. Now, as you're looking at your credit profiles, meaning with all the credit bureaus, credit reports in front of you, not just one, all of them, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, Check Systems, LexisNexis, get your reports. Review your reports. This is not going to take 2, 3, 4 hours. This might take you a little longer, but can you imagine spending the time now so you don't have to spend extra later? Trust me, I have been in this boat more than once, and the way I educate on this is the mistakes that I made growing up, and even as I, getting older, on how to understand not only the credit report but behavior spending. These factors are extremely important in order for you to reach your goal. Look at all of the information and start taking notes. So, the first step on how to get to your 150 points is, again, more math, but it's simple math. So, as I stated in the previous slide, you need 52.5 points out of the 150 points needed to achieve your overall goal. The question you're probably asking, how is this possible? Before we continue, I want to let everybody know my name is Lynette. I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions. We are talking about how you can increase your overall credit worthiness by knowing, what's on the credit profile. If this is your first time tuning in, please place in the comments where you are tuning in from. We are using the platform StreamYard. We are going over again different areas of the credit report in its entirety, however, so you can understand how to increase your credit worthiness. If you desire to have a copy of the slides after viewing Credit Tip Tuesday, you can put your information in the comments and your email in the comments, and I will send them to you. If you have any questions regarding this method, I can also answer any questions you have. As we continue, we are on the section of how are we going to get to these 150 points based on the 5 pillars on the credit report. I'm not never wearing lipstick again. This cute stuff is all right for some of y'all prissy people. This is too much, and I love y'all. So, again, as I stated in the previous slide, 52.5% or 52.5 points is needed. So I gave an example. If you have 11 late payments on the credit report, the area that needs addressed is payment history. So if you have late payments, this is going to decline your payment history, and this is why 52.5% of your credit report is having negative outcome regarding payment history. So the way you look at this, I said you have 5 late payments on the credit cards and 6 late payments in collections. I utilize this example because this is what I normally see on credit profiles. So in order for you to get to this goal, you're going to divide the 52.5 over 11. The 52.5 is the number of points divided by the number of late payments on your credit report. When you do this, every time a negative area is removed or it age, meaning it gets older, you will gain 4.77272727 points every credit reporting cycle. This is just your payment history. Again, if you have an issue on your payment history based off of this example, the number of points needed to reach your goal is 52.5, which is 52.5% of your credit profile. Regarding payment history, the example I use, if you have 11 late payments in several areas of the credit report. So if you have 5 late payments on the credit cards, 6 late payments in collections, let's explore the math. The way I get the numbers and the points, so 52.5 divided over the number of late payments will give you every credit reporting cycle 4.77272727 points. So every time the late payment is removed or aged on the credit profile, you will gain roughly 4.77 points. To test my math, we all know division is the reciprocal of multiplication. You can add the 4.77272727 times 11, and you will get 52.5 points. Yes, I'm not good at math, by the way. Credit utilization is 45 points. So a lot of times people don't have credit cards. And if you do, if you have late payments or the account is closed, you're going to add the number of late payments on top of the number of months that it was closed by 45 or 45 over that number in order to get the number needed to reach every billing cycle. So I will repeat that. Many people don't have credit cards, but if you have credit cards and you have late payments based on this example, you're going to take the number of points that you know that you need to get to the 150, and divide it over the number of late payments within the credit card area. If the account is closed, you're going to add the number of months to include that. So, say if you had 11 late payments on the credit cards, you're going to take 45 divided by 11, and then you would get that number the that you would get every time the late payment is either removed or closed. As we go through credit card utilization, you must count the number of areas late within that area of the credit card or all your credit cards. Divide that by the 45 points that's needed. Again, I gave the example 45 divided by 11, and you would get a number. And I'll do it with you guys. Pull out my handy dandy calculator. So if you have 11 late payments, you would take 45 divided by 11. In every reporting cycle, you will earn 4.09090909 every reporting cycle. To test that, you can take that number given and multiply by 45 by the number of late payments, and you will get 45. A lot of myths with credit cards. I don't want to get deep into it because we're going to do that in the second series, because I'm going to do this all in one. And you want to understand the target utilization, transactor versus revolver, and statement closing date versus payment due date. If anyone have any questions, please let me know. Put them in the comments as we continue. I will go over this. To find your credit age, you have to look at the time of the first account established to the latest account established. My famous number is 11 that you see. I use 11 in a lot. I can use any number, to be honest with you, but I use 11 because it's an easy number, and I want you guys to understand this. So oftentimes, when you're applying for a new line of credit, you will see a decrease in score because you tampered with the credit age. Credit age is like fine wine. The older it is, the better the score, usually. So the way you determine credit age in 11 accounts, I use the years 2010 all the way up to 2022. The way you determine your credit age, you start with the first date of the opening of the account, and you count the number of accounts, meaning in its years. So I use very easy examples here. 2 accounts in 2010, 2 accounts in 2011, 2 accounts in 2014, 2 accounts in 2016, 1 in 17, 1 in 19, and 1 in 2020. When you add all those years up, and there they are 11 accounts, you will get the number 2014.36364. Again, the way you find your credit age is you add all the accounts up by year. So if we had 2 accounts in 2010, you add 2010 twice. If you had 2 accounts in 2011, you add 2011 twice. You add two accounts in 2014, you add 2014 twice, so forth and so on. You do this until you have all 11 accounts. And when you add those together, you will get 2014.36364. When you round that off, you'll get 2014. In order to find the age of the report, you're going to subtract what you found by the current year. When you subtract what you found by the current year, you will see that your credit age is 8 years old. So again, I use 11 accounts. You count the accounts by adding the years that it was open. Again, 2010 had two accounts, 11 had two, 14 had two, 16 had two, 17 had one, 19 had one, and 20 had one. When you add all those numbers together, you'll get 2014.36364 equals 2014. You take that and subtract it by the current year we are in, and you will get your credit age is 8 years old. And you're probably saying, why would I need to do all of this? And it displays to me on the credit report. That's a good question. I'm going to answer for you. When you write things down, the subconscious captures it to say, I am bringing awareness about who I am when it comes to my finances. If we allow the computer to generate everything, which is fine, and we don't have an idea what's going on, you will continue to be in that space where you don't know what's going on. So you should understand your credit profile because one, it educates yourself, and if you have children. Two, it will bring more awareness and resiliency within the home. Three, it would improve communications. Four, it would decrease arguments within the household because you would be able to talk about when things are wrong. And five, it will allow you to sleep at night because you honestly knows what's going on with your credit report. Your credit determines how you live, move, walk, breathe, or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people walk fine and live fine with bad credit. I've done it for years. I'm telling you. But I was broke. Hell, I'm still broke. I was broke. You know, so I didn't have that financial awareness. I didn't have those insurance policies that I'm able to finance. I didn't have advisors. I didn't have individuals that can educate me. And you do a lot of harm. And then when you turn 40 or 50, you say, get it. And I understand we're still growing overall, but doing it with a pencil and piece of paper gives that subconscious that information to say, oh, this is how they calculate. Mixed credit and overall credit is 15%, and that includes your the time on your job, time at residency, applying for lines of credit, assets will determine that 30 points. So mixed credit and overall credit is everything you are doing that as you are looking at your credit profiles, seeing if something is correct or if it's displayed not the same as others, you can see where the area is. Again, while you're doing this, use the examples within the slides. Once you grasp the concept, then use your and determine your numbers based on what you see and set your goals. Please do short-term goals for long-term to extend the long-term goals. If you are a 500 and you need to be at 800 in 3 months, this is not the way to do it because you're not going to get there. If you are 500 and you're trying to reach an 800, educating yourself along the way to bring awareness to get to the 800 will ensure you won't get back to the 500s again. So as I prepare for section 2, to give you a recap, know who are the credit bureaus, how they operate, look at your check systems, look at your LexisNexis, pull your credit reports, because it's important. If you have everything in front of you, you can now keep a dialogue on how you are going to improve overall. Set realistic goals, and it's okay if you fluctuate. You're going to go up and down like a seesaw. You're not going to always go up. You're not. If as you're building, you lose a lot of points because you are growing your score. The goal is you got to lose something to gain something. And again, if you go fast, go alone. African Hebrews. If you go fast, go alone. But if you're gonna go slow, we all go together. Section 2 will allow you to understand ways to dispute. And if you want to step away, get some water, whatever the case may be, you can do so. We will return in about 2 minutes, and I'll let you shake some things off, or you can click stop and pause, and we're going to continue to keep going. All right, I am back. You're probably saying, why is she taking breaks? Because I can. I'm going to take breaks. I'm doing this a whole way through, so you don't have to, look for part two. I'm doing both at the same time because last week I did part two, and I played the song within the live, and Sony said, you can't do that. Well, even though I said you know, said this, I'm not the owner of this music, they still hit a lot of the content. So I'm doing the entire series one stop. We are on series two. My name is Lynette. I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions. Today is August the 9th, Credit Tip Tuesday, and we're talking about how we can bring awareness regarding your credit profile. I educated in series one as if you never looked at your credit before. I hope this reached people that never looked at their credit report before, and I also hope that it reached people that may have looked at their credit or in the process of rebuilding their credit, uh, find some knowledge in this to keep and continue to grow. We are using the platform StreamYard. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please place the information in the chat. Let StreamYard know who you are so I can see. I will share this throughout social media. Check out my YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, of course, and my website, www.dalscreditsolutions.com. No, www.dalscredit.solutions. Damn, I know my own website. Before we begin the second series, please get your notepad out and a pencil. And we're now going to talk about how to dispute. I will read a disclaimer. All information is for educational purposes only to grow and increase awareness. DLS Credit Solutions will not engage in any illegal activity which is not aligned with the Fair Credit Reporting Act and other federal regulators regarding credit laws. DLS Credit Solutions will not support instructions if you are in the process of removing items on the credit report associated with you by law. It is illegal to remove items on the credit report utilized during the account opening. We do not participate in purchasing trade lines from unknown sources, and we do not support credit privacy numbers, CPNs, fake social security numbers. We are now going to continue with the second series. How to read in the disputing process. Fun stuff. How to read your credit report. As I stated before, pull your credit reports from all agencies. Freecreditreports.com is a source that you can pull your credit report. However, there's a disclaimer clause in there. If you pull from this site, you are giving creditors an additional 15 days to respond if there is an error on the credit report. Now, during the pandemic, it has been extended that creditors have 60 days minimum to respond to your issue. So if you pull your credit report from creditworthiness.com, you're given 75 days to respond. How this can affect you: one, it will keep errors on your report longer. Two, if you do 75, that's 2 months and 5 days out of the year. You break that down, they got 6 times to report. 6 times 2 is 12, roughly. So be mindful where you get this. This is a free source. Getting your reports from MyFICO, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. You can request them from the credit bureau, excuse me. MyFICO is a paying platform. However, it will allow you to view all your reporting. DALS Credit Solutions does not profit from any information given regarding FICO, LexisNexis, Innovis, Check Systems, or any other LexisNexis, any other credit reporting agencies. So I just want to let you know, if you do go to freecreditreport.com, you will have an additional 15 days to get your reports, your information back, which would give a total of 75 days for a creditor to respond back regarding your complaint. So to recapture what I said earlier, you collect the reports, review the data, review the reports of no mistakes, keep a dialogue. Now we're going to talk about, once you have everything in place, your reports, your documentation, your goals, now you find errors. So the chain of command, a lot of people will make the mistake and remain on a hamster wheel, which I've done in my earlier days. I said it like I've been doing this for 30 years, but I have not. You must respect the chain of command. So when you find the error on a report, look for a number and make the call. Doing this will create a documentation, what do you call that? Sorry. It will create a series of events created before you begin the disputing process. So you have to respect the chain of command. When you call the creditor regarding your report or the issue on your report, people say never give them your information. Well, how the hell are you going to find out if it belongs to you or not? You must give them your information. Call and say, hi, I am Lynette Stevenson, and I saw this collection report regarding medical on my profile. I would like to know, can you let me know who is associated with it, because all I see that is in collections. Give them your current address, because if you're not familiar, let them know. As you're creating a paper trail, this is what I couldn't get earlier, make sure you do one of three things. One, document the time you call. Two, ask who you are speaking to. And three, find out which department they work in. Because as you're documenting this, you're time stamping that I made this call on this date, on this at this time. Once you verify who you are, you then say, where did it come from? If they say, well, we bought it from an unknown source, I'm not familiar with this. They're going to ask, so are you saying it's not yours? I'm saying, basically, where who you said it came from, it doesn't have any, I don't have an idea who that came from. Is this the original creditor? If they say yes, it is, say thank you, but I'm going to have to dispute this because I'm not familiar with the main source. In the call, you do this for every account on your credit report. Many people will make the mistake and go to straight disputing because I've done it, and then you'll say, "Did you contact the credit report, the creditor?" And you say yes. They can check to see if you call because it's public. They can check. So please make the call, respect the chain of command. Once you have all your documentation and you created this paper trail, you begin to dispute anything you did not agree with. You do not send the information to the credit bureaus. Many people dispute at the credit bureaus. I did at one time. I had very little success doing that. The reason being that they're going to do is send your information to the credit bureaus and turn around and they're going to say, is this person's account? They're not going to do a full verification. This verification is going to be a 3 to 4 digit e-Oscar code. Again, I used to dispute with the credit bureaus. It does nothing for me. I have nothing against those that do it. To me, the process is just way too long, and all you're doing is sending certified letters, and only thing they're going to do is stamp them. You're never going to get a real signature, and you're going to remain on this hamster wheel. Sending your information and your concerns to the people who regulate that agency is where you get the best results at. So in order for you to do this, you cut the middleman because you respected the chain of command. You already made contact with the creditor. The creditor already told you, hey, this is where we got this from. You already made the creditor aware that I'm not familiar with the source. So if you send the dispute to the credit bureaus and you already spoke to the creditor who the credit bureaus is going to send the information to, the responses you're going to get on the credit bureau, the return is verified. So you already did step one. Don't go back through step one to get back to the same place you started at. It doesn't make sense. Again, I have nothing against those who dispute with the credit bureaus. If you had success, excellent. I had very little success because the process costs more money sending out all these certified letters, and all you're going to get is the same response that you got on the phone when you spoke to the actual person. As we continue, we will now begin the process of disputing. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. My name is Lynette. I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions. We are talking about how to read and dispute on the credit with the credit reports. This is the second series. If you want a copy of the slides, please put your information inside the comment section. We are using the platform StreamYard. Let's continue. Now, a lot of people are going to get fussy about this, but do not, and I mean do not, take letters off the internet to dispute, because those letters are not only sent from the credit bureaus, a lot of the information within the laws on those letters, you have no idea what they mean. And I say that because 90% of the people that are disputing have no idea what 15 UC, 16 UC, credit consumer laws, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau laws, OCC, Comptroller of Currency laws, banking laws. These are the laws that creditors must regulate and adhere to ensure they remain in compliance to the consumer. So when you hear about send the letters, these DIY letters, buy your letters, get them off the internet letters, put a word wrong or make it sound like you don't know what you're talking about letters, make it grammatically correct letters, which you should. Um, do these demand letters, and I'm telling you, it's going to put you on a hamster wheel. A lot of the laws that are mentioned within these letters, the average consumer have no idea what it means. So when you hear 15 UC, the law itself is about 50 pages. So if somebody's going to give you a small section, you better read the entire section because there's a lot of clauses and a lot of underlying segments and attachments with the laws from section 1 all the way down to section C. C. The reason I know because I read these laws. I know these laws, and you have to understand if it's something that kept you from paying that bill or you was in a situation that you were unable to make those payments, create the document on the site with the federal regulators to make sure the creditors did everything they're supposed to by law to ensure you don't have a risk, meaning negative credit reporting, stress on income. All these areas are very important. As we continue to dispute, please be honest. Do not remove anything that belongs to you. Don't try it. It doesn't make sense because there are so many ways that a fraud alert can be displayed on your report and you don't know it's a fraud alert. Consumer does not agree. That's a notation of a fraud. Consumer disputed but still doesn't agree. Fraud alert. You're saying you don't agree and it's not yours. So when you look at the numerical factor of your credit report, the number is just not telling you that you're credit worthy or not. It's the notation within the credit report. Please be mindful when you dispute. Keep a paper trail and be honest. Is this my item on my report? So many people encounter issues when they remove addresses that used to belong to them, or they don't live there no more. Um, Actual inquiries that you apply for, and then when you become credit worthiness, you're like, why couldn't I get an American Express card? Because you disputed it when you was at a lower limit. So now they have you on the list, and you're unable to obtain those benefits because you apply for something, and now you want it because you're not able to get it. So please be honest with yourself as you're looking at your reports. Do not remove nothing that belongs to you. One is against the law. Two, you can create more harm than good. Three, you can get blackballed. And four, it can be more brutal to your credit report. A lot of people say, I've been a 599 or 600 for 8 years, and I look at their credit report and the notation says it all. Credit consumer disputed this. This is what happened. The consumer disputed this. This is what happened. You're creating a risk to never increase your credit worthiness. We talked about chain of commands. Please call the original creditor, documenting every time you spoke with them, and while reviewing your credit information on the credit reports, ensure the information given from the creditor is correct. We talked about the 30 and 60 days of response. The normal time now, after 2022 of January, is 60 days. A creditor has to respond. If you get your credit reports from www.freecreditreport.com, you're adding an additional 15 days, which will give you a total of 75 days for a response. Example items on a credit report, and I'm going to use a couple of them. My water's getting warm. Don't judge me. I use these issues on a report because, again, these are examples I saw and or dealt with within my process. So imagine you having an issue with your bank, like the bank closed your account and you was unaware. You got a charge back. How do you dispute it? Now, would you dispute your issue with the bank, with the credit bureau? The answer is no. The way you know who regulates the bank is within the name of the institution. So, for instance, if you have ABCD Federal Credit Union, you would know, is it through the National Credit Union Association, and that's the NCUA, National Credit Union Association, or is it a smaller credit union that adhere to federal laws, but the shareholders or the owners own the actual bank? So there's two ways to look at this. If it's federal, and I'm using a credit union for an example, and I will also use a bank. If it's a federal credit union and it's a larger credit union, you look for the National Credit Union Association. If the members own the credit union, they don't really adhere to the National Credit Union Association. You look at the state you are in and look at the Department of Banking. So I'll use PA, I won't use a bank. It's a certain credit union in Pennsylvania that has been around for quite some time. They are owned by its shareholders. So instead of me doing a dispute with the National Credit Union Association, that's called NCUA. If you Google it, it will, come up and you can learn how to look at those processes of submitting complaints. Excuse me. I went through, since it was a credit union that wasn't regulated by the NCUMA, National Credit Union Association, I went through the Pennsylvania Department of Banking. What I did was explain the client's issue based off of the information given and what happened. When I submitted the complaint through the Pennsylvania National Department of Banking, and for example, this was a repossession on the client, and the way it happened was against the guidelines according to the Pennsylvania Department of Banking. The letter said X, Y, and Z. Based off of what happened, the repossession was fully removed and they received $1,200. So the services they got from me basically paid for itself. That doesn't happen with everybody. However, if you learn these processes and you find violations, you can be compensated at times, not all the time. Again, disputing with the credit bureaus is going to do nothing but send that e-Oscar report to say, is this X, Y, Z? If they say yes, you already made contact. They're going to send it back, says verify. Then my question to you is, what's the next step? While you're disputing, do two things, do many things. My daughter, Denisha Stevenson, she taught me this. Purchase a planner. A planner can save your life because it brings awareness of what you need to do, how you're doing it, and what needs to be done next. Be honest with your spending. We didn't touch on, spending patterns and spending habits because I'm not one to judge because we all have our habits. But in order for you to grow credit worthiness and increase that that awareness and become resilient, you must be honest with your spending. If you have debt and it belongs to you, pay it. I know many times people say, oh, paying a collection, it's not worth it. Okay, leave it on there and it's not going to be worth it. So if you pay a collection, ask it for it to be removed and then use the steps that I mentioned before. Be honest with your spending and become aware of your spending. Pay off your debt if you got to do a little at a time. Contact current creditors regarding your debt. If you are unable to pay something, please talk to your creditor. I've made the mistake many times in my life. Feel as though it will go away. No, the hell it won't. It will smack you so far in your forehead, their company will come on there. Please, if you're unable to pay a bill or have issues that you got to pay your credit card debt and it's not there at the moment, please communicate. It's very important. As we conclude, the goal is not for you to finish the race, it's the reason you began. Having the strength to begin this process is brave. Don't allow compromised credit prevent you from starting a business, obtain funding, and all possible opportunities for self and or your business. Be the difference within your home, improving credit, decrease child diversity, pipelines to prisons, and increase positive communications. Continue to be brave as this journey is rough. I will see you on the other side. I love you guys. I thank everyone who tuned in to watch this. I hope that I sowed into you that it will make a change because so much is going on in this world that we have to be aware that things are disappearing. It's not the same. It's never going to be the same. And it's going to get worse. We are transitioning to the cashless, meaning money will become obsolete one day. I don't know if it's going to be fully removed. I'm letting you know, put your money in insurance or keep it under your mattress. Obtain credit, learn how to understand money and finances because we're coming into a season that the shelves are empty. We're coming to a season where we're scraping pennies and quarters and dimes. We're coming to a season where it's taking longer for payments to be made on businesses. We're coming to a season that things are slowing down. Be prepared for this upcoming season as if your life depends on it. I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart because I see things that many others do not. And I'm saying this to you to not gain business, but to sow into you to let you know, start this journey now. And I mean start it. Use the information given in order to grow. If you are a small business, get away from the cash flow and go towards accruing. I can never say the word accrual, excuse me, because cash flows will give you a higher amount. but accruals will give you a stronger return. Understand your financial profiles, understand how you're going to do business. Make sure you are pricing accordingly. It all begins with your personal credit. I'm telling y'all what I know. I felt many times with my credit. I felt many times with my finances. I am very transparent when it comes to me. I had more items on my credit than wig strands in my hair. This process that I'm educating you on, I went through the same journey. It took me 5 years because this is a trial and error for me. The reason I can execute on this because the numerical factors within this content will give you the actual data to grow your credit score. DALS Credit Solutions is very proud that we do not use software to mask the situation. We bring education and awareness to improve the situation. We are proud we are different, and we are thankful that we have individuals like yourself. Please share this content with others. I cannot reach everyone. The individuals that also do credit cannot reach everyone. Be a service and click and share. Don't have to sow into you don't have to sell your business if you don't sow into it. I love you guys. Again, if you have any question, place your comments in the chat. We are using StreamYard as the platform. If you want the slides, put your email in the chat so I can send you the slides. If you want the recording, I will be nice and send it to you. I don't know if it's going to download because we're on an hour and 12 minutes. Or please go to my Facebook page and look at the videos. You can go and view all videos back from 2020. I don't delete my data because it's public and everybody cannot afford services. Please be mindful and do it yourself if you are able to. I have many clients um, done it themselves and they are very successful. Shout out to Veronica Lent and Candace. She's from down south. I remember my first time with Candace. She came on my credit tip Tuesday, and she asked so many questions. She improved her score in 1 year. She had one consultation, and 1 year later, she bought her house. It's the consistency that will allow you to grow. So don't be afraid. Don't fall off. Don't be afraid to fail and get to the other side. I conclude by saying God bless you all. I love you. I will see you next Tuesday and have a wonderful day.